All right, here we go. So I'm excited about this one because you have a pretty awesome story to share, and I feel like a lot of teachers, moms, people just they need to hear it. So let's start off just where you were before we ever started working together.
Um, so just before I met you, or started working with you, I was pregnant with my second kid, and doing what I thought was pretty reasonable exercise for somebody who was like 5 months pregnant. So I was riding my horse 1 or 2 days a week. I had ridden the horse 5 days a week over the summer, um, and eating what I could eat. I had really bad morning sickness, and that was hard for me. Um, and my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that was pretty scary because my dad's family is riddled with cancer. So I have two aunts who had breast cancer. One of them had it twice in her life, which is very rare. And the other aunt, it actually started as stomach cancer, but it was really pervasive and fast. And there's like colon cancer and all kinds of other stuff. Um, but I was like, oh, well, like if it's only 50% of my genes, I'm probably okay. But if I've got breast cancer stuff on both sides of my family, I'm kind of like fucked.
Yeah.
Um, so that was kind of scary. And I went to St. Vincent's Breast Cancer Center at the recommendation of my OB, who I loved, and I trusted him. And she basically said that I had a significant chance of getting breast cancer at some point in my life. Um, And I was like, okay, well, thanks. And I just put it in a little box because I kind of had to think about my babies and my life. And I guess that was before I got pregnant with the second one because I knew I was going to have him, to get the like chronology straight.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's the truth because before you came to me, you were pregnant. So so
Yeah,
that
but
was
I,
before
I,
the
I
second.
remember meeting with the woman and being like, well, I was going to get pregnant next month if things
Yeah.
worked out good.
Yeah.
So I guess I had the breast cancer diagnosis like I, not that I had breast cancer, but that I would be a high risk candidate throughout my life. She recommended some pretty serious cancer drugs. It's called tamoxifen,
Yeah.
and it significantly reduces your chance of breast cancer, but increases your risk of ovarian and uterine cancer, which are much harder to detect. Um, and it was scary. But again, I was like, okay, well, it's going to stay in a little box, and I'm not going to think about it. Um, and then when I was pregnant and drinking Diet Coke, Tom Brady, who, if you live in New England, is like a god. Um, and he came out with an interview where he talked about why he gave up Diet Coke. And I was 4 months pregnant, and I was like, dang, this superhero gave up Diet Coke. I should probably think about it too. And that was something my mom gave me when I was a little kid. Like, if we were good, we would get Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And it was like hardcore wired into me. And I quit Diet Coke. And 2 weeks later, you posted something on Facebook about like getting a tour of the grocery store and understanding chemicals and foods better. And I was kind of there and ready to hear it from somebody maybe for the first time. And I appreciated your patience that you took with me because I was pregnant and couldn't eat much stuff because I was like trying not to barf while we were in the supermarket. Um, and so I feel like that really launched my journey. And I'm at the point now where people who have known me my whole life, like the cleaning lady is here today, and she doesn't usually see me, like I usually have a kid on my hip or something, and she saw me for the first time today in like a different light, and she was like, wow, Kate, you have lost so much weight. It's amazing, and it is amazing, but I really feel like it's like an interchange more than just
Mm,
necessarily like, I don't get me wrong, I love that I'm skinnier now than I was when I was 18, but I think the best thing is how much my life has changed.
I love that. I love how you kind of wrapped it all up, and I want to dig in a little bit about just the middle period there from like really just giving at least one or two like big takeaways from your time because we got the before, you even gave just a phenomenal wrap up of the end. um, what were some of the biggest takeaways or the things that really kind of drastically shifted things for you during the time that we worked together?
So I started working with you at AR when I was pregnant because my horse wouldn't let me keep riding her. She was really mad at me. She's like, "You're pregnant. You should not be riding me right now." And I knew that I needed the endorphins and to keep moving throughout my pregnancy because I am not one of those people who can put my feet up and eat bonbons.
Yeah.
Um, and I appreciated your knowledge and patience through that part of the journey. I was at the gym 3 days before I was in labor, and people don't believe me, but that's one of those pictures that like pops up on Facebook, and I'm like, that's me, legit 9 months pregnant there, lifting weights, and that's empowering when you can do that as a woman. It's pretty beautiful and amazing, and I couldn't have done that without your support. But I think that what I appreciate most about my time with you at AR was I'd show up on Saturday mornings, and sometimes there'd be 20 people, and sometimes it would be like me. And I loved being able to, whether it was 20 people or if it was just me, ask my "So Matt" questions. "So Matt, my kid refused to eat his green beans last night. What should I do?" "So Matt, my husband seems like he's addicted to toast right now. What should I do?" And as a woman, I feel like it is my job as the mom in our house to kind of help support not just myself, but other people in our nutritional journey. And it was really nice to have somebody else to kind of lean on and ask questions to without feeling like I had to dive into the internet, because that is a dark, awful hole.
It is a dark, dark hole, that internet.
Nobody should be turning to that when their kid is only eating mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. Nobody wants their kid just to eat mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. But on the other hand, I feel like people don't know how to fight the fight and are afraid to fight it alone, because it's scary if your kid stops eating, and you feel like a bad parent if your kid goes to bed without food. And a lot of my "So Matt" questions focused around my toddler, and watching him eat better has been pretty beautiful. So our pediatrician said she couldn't diagnose him with ADD, but that like he probably has ADD based on like some inventory and some stuff. And I worked with a licensed social worker, and the biggest thing she said we could do was improve his diet and get him better exercise. So
Which
when
is
it's
pretty cool because not all social workers say that, which is really cool that they were on board with that.
my pediatrician is fantastic. I know you're on the wait list for her, but
Yeah.
she changed what I felt like the medical profession should be doing.
Hopefully we're on that way. Hopefully we're on that path, But
It's
you
takes
get,
a while, but
yeah,
it'll be good when you get there. Um,
exactly. But that's
and
great.
it is. But Jasper says, like, so when we go to birthday parties, he's like, "Mommy, I already had sugar today," because it's pretty much impossible to not eat white sugar um, ever. But he knows there's sugar in his Annie's bunnies. So if he had Annie's bunnies and that's what he chose for a snack, and we go to a birthday party, "Mommy, I already had bunnies today. I think if I eat this whole piece of cake, I'll get sick." And he's 4 and knows that about himself. And it stems from ODing when my husband let him just have free reign because he thought I was full of shit and that I was making all this stuff up. And he let him have free reign on Halloween, and Jasper was sick for a week. And it was awful. And then I do that to myself too. Like, I'll be like, "Oh, I just last week I kind of had an off week off my diet, and I had some chocolate, and then it was Valentine's Day, and then it was my kid's birthday." And I just kind of felt things cycling. And if my 5-year-old can back up and say, like, "You know what, this is too much. I need to just stop and hit reset at 35. I need to do it too." And
But you taught him that. That's the thing.
yeah,
Like kids don't create that internal dialogue that like I shouldn't have more sugar. Like you explained that to him, so he was aware of that. So it's in you as well.
I do know that truly. And I think that you helped coach me, and through me supporting my family, um, to be able to make healthier decisions. My husband just acknowledged that he's been eating too many eggs, and that's why his stomach keeps getting off. He's not ready to admit that the scotch that he's having at night is doing it to him too. um, don't tell him I told you. But to be there and to be supportive and to say, yeah, I'm sorry that you're not feeling good. Think about it and let me know how I can help you. And to be a coach for my whole family is empowering, and it makes me feel like I'm able to do my job.
That's awesome. I love that. So let's finish up, and that's really to examine, like, as a result of all these things, what has been the biggest like wins after it all?
So I think right now I feel like when I started working with you and the Potential You in September, I was really struggling with a work-life balance. I think that's something that people who are maybe 20 to 40 think about a lot differently than other generations ever have. I want to sit and relax and have time with my kids and play with them and be engaged with them at home. And I can't wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I can't. I've
Yeah.
tried, and you were able to help me find time in my day to fit in exercise and to feel confident in my routine. To know that that's what's going to help me stay fit and healthy. And I'm working on changing my inner dialogue so that instead of saying like, oh my God, this will make me fat, or am I going to get fat? You know, Kaylee, one piece of cake isn't going to change your life any more than my mom having one healthy shake isn't going to change her life either. And really realizing that it's about a balance and it's a journey, and it's okay to have a bad week and it's okay to have an awesome week, and to celebrate all aspects of life and to feel confident that I am in control of my journey.
I love that. And you started by saying you literally, this whole conversation started with fear of cancer. Where's that at?
Yeah, so in December, at the end of my time working with you in the Potential You, I went to Mass General Hospital, which is one of the leading cancer institutes in America. And it was hard to get into. It took me over a year to get an appointment. And it was a series of people who I had to go through to get to this guy. And he looked at me and was like, Kate, really looking at your genetics, I don't think that you have a significantly higher chance of getting breast cancer. That really, when looking at your genetics, the reason why these people are getting these diagnoses probably has more to do with obesity and possibly the surroundings of their environment than actually genetics. And the best thing that you can do is to stay healthy and fit and to monitor what you put into your body and continue to take good care of yourself and keep on keeping on. And that was wild. He said that I have a 0% greater risk of getting cancer than any other person walking down the street, and maybe less if I continue to stay healthy and fit. So that was pretty cool.
That's a huge win. That's a huge win.
It is.
And I feel like you are you're one of the best people that have come through the program because you've taken a lot of the information, you adopted it. Like my job as a coach is just to support, give information, and hold you accountable. But ultimately, it was you taking on all of the things that were within the program, and even just like being okay asking questions. A lot of people get frustrated and stuck, and they're afraid to ask those questions they need to ask. And you know, it's there's so much to this, and like you said, the internet is a dark place, and it's hard to get out of that rabbit hole, and you can really get sucked in. And just having gone through so much myself, and being able to support you has been a pleasure. So I appreciate you and our time together.
Me too. I really appreciate it. I have a giant sign of the 4 agreements on my desk at school, and
Nice.
another one for the kids. And I think what I have appreciated about having you as a coach format is that you really understand like my demographics.
Mm.
So you get what it's like to be a teacher in 2018, and um, it's a weird time that we're living in, and it's a really exciting time. And I think that we can do a lot to empower kids um, and
We
help them.
need to do a lot,
We do need to do a lot,
you know?
and but I have appreciated your support in that, because that's an important part of the picture. And when I talk about you with my friends, I talk about like you just get where we're coming from, and I think that that can make you a great coach for people who are, especially not, you can certainly help anybody, but especially people who either have kids or are working in education, because it's complicated.
Well, I appreciate that. And thank you so much, Kate, for your time. That's awesome.